Hey friends, welcome back to Potter Plus, your podcasting home for the upcoming Harry Potter television show and so much more. I'm your host, William, and we've got a great show for you today. Coming up a little later, I'm talking with Brad Bear, co-creator and mastermind of the Ironton Wizardfest, and it was an incredibly fun conversation. We talk Potter, our Potter stories, his background in screenwriting and screen adaptation, especially when it comes to the upcoming television show, as well as Ironton Wizardfest, which is happening second weekend in November. Thanks again, Brad, for coming on the show. I had a lot of fun, but first, we have got a lot of news to cover. And when I say a lot of news, I mean a lot of news since the last episode of Potter Plus. Warner Brothers and HBO are currently looking for the Golden Trio. A mere 2 days after I posted the most recent episode of Potter Plus, Warner Brothers and HBO announced an open casting call for Harry, Ron, and Hermione. Now, before you pack your preteen up and rush them to Burbank to Warner Brothers Studios, in the announcement, they announced we are currently only able to consider children aged 9 to 11 in April of 2025 that are also a resident of the UK or Ireland. But it's happening. As we speak, this generation's Golden Trio could be meeting each other for the first time. On October 9th of 2024, 3 new writers were announced to be joining the writers' room for the upcoming Harry Potter TV show. And these include Laura Neal, Josephine Gardner, and Andy Greenwald. And like the internet does, each of these writers were investigated for their previous works. Laura Neal has written for BBC series like Killing Eve and Sex Education on Netflix. Josephine Gardner has no other work listed in her past. However, given her similarities in last name to Francesca, it wouldn't be far-fetched to infer some sort of relation there. But comments were unearthed from Andy Greenwald. He hosts a podcast called The Watch, and back in February, he had some interesting comments about the Harry Potter television show, as well as rigorous text-to-screen adaptations. Take a listen.
There are so many more stutter steps now than there used to be. Part of this is because the decisions have a lot more money riding on them. This is Harry Potter, which is arguably the biggest and most profitable franchise in the world. Yeah. They can't rush into that, nor should they, nor would the fans want them to.
Do you think that the material, because I've never read it, or seen the movies, honestly, lends itself to that?
Yes.
Like, could you just be like, I'm going to shoot each page? Like, that's what I'm doing.
I mean, if Mallory was here, I think she could give you a more full-throated answer of excitement. I mean, these are really, really rich and they're very long books, especially later in the series. People adore them, and successive generations are discovering them and loving them every day. And like, you know, put on my Thomas Friedman columnist hat, but like the stores are packed everywhere they are in the country and around the world. People buying the chocolate frogs and the hats and the owl, like all of it. You could monetize almost every single aspect of it, and they kind of have.
Yeah.
So the idea of a incredibly rigorous text-to-screen adaptation is, I think, a probably safe bet to be a success. Does that like light my fire in terms of like, and I'm not saying, by the way, to be clear, no one asked me. I was not involved in this on any level.
No, I know. I was just asking as like
Now, the more eyebrow-raising comments came a little later, where he admitted that he hadn't finished the series because he was reading them with his daughter. His daughter left him in the dust, and he didn't finish it. But I guarantee you now, after being hired to the writer's room, he's probably going to finish the books. So that part I'm not worried about. Now, as you'll hear in my conversation with Brad a little bit later, adapting for screen can be tricky. Text affords you the luxury of internal dialogue and internal emotions, which you don't get on the screen. So I'm not worried by any of the comments that he made. He further clarified later on in that interview about his daughter's reaction to the Avatar show on Netflix, which, as she pointed out, rather sagely, it was a television show adapted into a television show. What was added there? These are books going to a serialized television show, which I think honestly is a perfect avenue in order to adapt the series. If you want to go listen to Andy's full podcast episode, I'll link it down in the show notes below. I think it'd be interesting to get the perspective of a writer that has joined the writer's room for the Harry Potter television show. Next, seemingly unexpectedly and out of nowhere, wizardingworld.com is no more. Now, before you panic, the URL redirects to harrypotter.com. Here's a statement that was released from the Rowling Library. It happened suddenly and without warning. WizardingWorld.com transformed into HarryPotter.com. And with the change in web address, the umbrella in which the entire Wizarding franchise rested has now been retitled Harry Potter. 5 years after its launch, WizardingWorld.com changes its name and is now Harry Potter. What's the reason for the change? It's unknown. In 2018, when the new Wizarding World logo, the open book with wands, was announced, and its subsequent launch as a digital platform a year later, it was assured that it was a new joint venture with Warner Brothers and Pottermore that would allow for a broader reach of the brand. The article further goes on to say that this was likely in anticipation of the upcoming television show, brand synergy, and whatnot, but it has shocked lots of creators and fans of the Wizarding World. Now, don't worry, your house, your wand, your Patronus, all of that is still preserved. This is a URL change, and the banner at the top now reads Harry Potter. But things are getting interesting leading up to this television show. An opening date has been confirmed for Universal Studios' Epic Universe, and subsequently, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic. Doors will open, or portals, as Universal has said, will open on May 22nd of 2024, which is 2 days before my 11th wedding anniversary. And I feel a trip is in the works because, it's not every day your marriage turns 11, now is it? But with that, guys, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, I'm joined by Brad Bear, co-creator and mastermind of the Ironton Wizardfest. We'll be right back. Brad Bear, welcome. Number one, welcome back to the network. But number two, welcome to Potter Plus, man.
Hi, thank you for having me. And we're a whole network now, right?
We are
That's
whole
exciting.
network, expanded into 3 different shows. We play a tabletop role-playing game in the Fallout universe.
Yeah. Okay.
And we've got our chat show. But yes, they have taken the straitjacket off and they've given me my own Harry Potter podcast.
Well, now I have life goals. I want to get on this network.
Yes.
I've been podcasting since 2016. I would love to get on this network. I mean, I've been in and out of it. I've been producing more than anything, but yeah.
Oh, that's the preamble to this conversation. Maybe the Patreon exclusive if they want to in on that one. But I had to have you on, Bud, especially since it's October and right around the corner. I mean, it's the annual event for our household, and for better for worse, depending on how much how much stress it has induced in you, it's the annual event for you guys as well. But Ironton Wizardfest is coming up November 9th and 10th.
It is
in Ironton, Ohio, and it is, as you can probably guess, it is a festival surrounding I like to refer to it as the Ballad of the Boy Wizard.
I love it. Yeah.
And I have heard a lot of your story, but I have a lot of listeners on Potter Plus who have found the show organically, not through our other shows. And so I wanted to have you back on the show. Number one, to talk the Boy Wizard. That is the reason why we're doing this podcast. You're doing this festival, but also to talk the upcoming show and just wherever this leads. So thank you so much for coming back on the show. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation that we had the last time. But for those who don't know, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit?
Oh, okay. My name is Brad Bear. I'm a media producer and content marketer, all of that.
Yeah.
So I run a media company and I do a lot of corporate work and I travel a lot and made feature films, things like that, and mostly documentary. So that's my day job. That's the kind of nuts and bolts. I would say the boring stuff, but actually I like it. And then I also organize this festival. I just love things and people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm interested in a lot of things. And I think just anybody that's in the creative field or creative space, that comes out in so many different ways. I think have you ever noticed? So like I'm 43, which is disgusting to say out loud. It's one of those things that it's just a number, but it's so true. Like my internal self never really, I don't know what 43 is supposed to feel like. Things don't hurt. People are like, things I hurt all the time. They really don't. And I'm okay with my responsibilities. So like, I don't see them as responsibilities. I see them as opportunities.
Sure.
So, I kind of feel stuck at a weird age sometime around 22,
Mine was 26.
Yours is your set point. There's like a set point, right? Like So you hit yours
that
is
for
I'm
at least
probably right in
5
that.
years after that.
Yeah.
People would ask me, "Oh, how old are you?" I would immediately think 26 and have to stop myself
Mm-hmm.
and count, because that's kind of where I landed. But I mean, I know we've talked about this before. My med school robbed me of my 20s.
Oh yeah. So you didn't. Yeah, you were devoted to that, right?
I started college at 18, and I did not finish residency until I was 29.
Oh, it literally took your 20s.
It quite literally took my 20s, and through that time, and I'm sure you've probably hit this as somebody who has organized a festival of this caliber, and as somebody who is not bashful about boasting about the things that you like.
Mhm.
There was a period that I hit where I just didn't give a rip what anybody thought of me.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And it was a turning point that happened around a job change.
Mhm.
Because there was a lot of external expectations, which I did everything that I did through high school, and I did everything I did through college to get the accolades.
Yeah.
I didn't like it, but it was another tassel that I could wear at graduation. It was another plaque I could get on award night. And that was a prideful thing in me that I did have to deconstruct and really think, like, what is something that I enjoy without abandon that might like make people squint or raise their eyebrows. And
forbidden fruit. We always called forbidden fruits in my friend circle growing up.
Yeah. And it all came back to this. It all came back to the boy wizard for me.
Yeah.
And I find, like you said, like, you meet people, you enjoy engaging with people, you enjoy doing things with people, and you find so much inspiration in that. I find so much creative inspiration inside the story as well. And I say that has all kind of culminated into you forming this festival. But first of all, how far with this story, how far does that go back?
Potter. So college. So Potter found me in a really interesting time. A really interesting time, actually. I was a kid that grew up, I always aspired to be a reader.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't like it. I don't think before the age of 20, before the age of 20, I didn't finish a book. Like I can't, no, that's not true. I had finished a couple, but they were forced readings in school, like Tom Sawyer and stuff, which I loved, and Tom and Huck and all that. I was very much into movies, loved movies, TV shows. I knew from the age of 8 I wanted to make movies. And so I was pretty focused early on. I took it's funny to say because high school for a lot of people doesn't count after childhood, but I took I'd say a detour into music throughout my middle school and high school, and fell in love with music. So I was actually going to go into studio engineering because I wasn't a good enough musician to go professional, but I had a good enough ear to make it come together.
Yeah.
And I did 2 years of college here in Ironton at the Ohio University Southern Campus. And they had a really great electronic media program at the time. This is video production and television. And after that, I decided to go to Athens. Now, that's the first time I had lived away from a really small town, right? I grew up in a tiny town.
Yep. Same. Yep.
I was just as insecure as ever. At the time, I was having, grappling with a lot of coming out issues and stuff like that.
Sure.
And also just the level of intensity of study. And so what was happening in a time that was so pivotal was I was having to read endless amounts of material every week. Not Potter, just anything, like just the classes, right? And since I was in screenwriting and I was taking English classes and I was taking these other classes, I was writing 30 pages of new material a week. People giving you feedback. I don't register feedback as criticism.
Okay.
Negative criticism. I register it as, okay, they didn't get it, so that's my fault, right? Like, that's my problem. That's my challenge. They didn't understand what I was saying.
Oh, okay.
They didn't understand what I was saying. I failed to communicate correctly, or I failed to get them where I needed to emotionally, or I failed earlier in the process to reveal what they needed to jump there. This will come into play later.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, during that time, I had a friend coming over to the house, and Athens had this terrible little mall, but they had a Sam Goody. Do you remember Sam Goody?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this little disheveled mall at the time. Now this is the year 2001. And just before this happened, the planes hit the Twin Towers in New York. And I had some friends from college. I just made that quarter. This is fall quarter, right? This is the first year I've been, 2001. This is the first year I'm in Athens. I'm alone, living alone, trying to juggle it all myself. I was a teaching assistant. I was the only undergrad teaching assistant. And the wake up one morning, I'm walking uptown to the classes, and I'm hearing people chatter and stuff. And I go on, and actually my professor was out of town. He was in New York with a group of students at a film festival. Mm-hmm. And he was my mentor, and he's the one that I was teaching assistant for. So I was taking his classes that week. And so that morning, I go into class, we do our TV class, and we come down. And since we're in the television building, the RTV building was called Radio Television Building, the lobby were all high def, which at that time was rare. Yeah. But it was all high definition TVs of just the trade centers getting hit. And everybody's just sitting in the lobby. And we get off the elevator, we're all chatty. We just got out of the class and blah, 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 blah. And then we turn and we see what's happening. We're like, what? So then the darkness, all this uncertainty. So, and then knowing that they're there, right? And I'm like, how do you wrestle with this? This is, you don't have good internet. There's some internet. You don't have great internet at this time. Definitely not what it's like today. I mean, Flash. It's 4 years before YouTube existed. Not before it was popular. Before it existed.
Before it even existed. Wow.
Yeah. So, MySpace existed around this time. No Facebook. It didn't exist. So, to give you some context, so people weren't communicating that way. So there wasn't instant connection. A lot of people had cell phones. I had a cell phone, but you still had to count minutes. You had to pay for it. Yeah. So you use that sparingly. And so there's a big disconnect. And so we're all going through this kind of collectively. Again, it's the adult version, only technically adult version of Lord of the Flies anyway. And then the world gets thrown into chaos.
Yeah.
So all this is happening. And I had a buddy coming over and just to hang out, watch a movie or something. But we had gone to the mall first, and we were just kind of hanging out. We were walking by. Sam Goody had a sale on an end cap, and I had seen the trailer to the first Harry Potter film the week before, and I was like, I can't wait to see this movie.
Ooh, okay, yeah,
incredible.
Yeah,
that's going to be so much fun. I got Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone for $1 in paperback. I know, and and so I took it back, and we were watching a movie or something, and he went to the bathroom, and I was just sitting there because at this point it's well into the semester. I didn't realize it, but my barriers had come down, and I was reading a lot of short stories because I was adapting short stories for one of my adaptation screenplay classes. So everything was adaptation and stuff. So here's this film coming out, and the reason I bought the book, it was $1 for one.
You're in college, and I feel that, yeah.
Well, but the movie was coming out the next week, and I'm like, I want to see what the adaptation process was like for this book.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
That was my take on it. It was pure curiosity. I had an acting coach back when I was in 15, 16 years old. It was also a mentor. And this was in I think 96. And I remember him getting and just telling me about this Harry Potter thing. And the first time I heard him say it, I was like, Harry Potter. And the image that kept coming to mind was the Captain Underpants book cover. For some reason, I'm like, why are you? And he just disappeared. I would be hanging out at their house. His wife was an agent for quite some time. So I'd be hearing the Hollywood stories and stuff because they were older. And so I was just drinking in these stories of Hollywood, over, dinner or something. But it was very unlike him to disappear from a conversation. And while he was reading that book, he would and she was so mad. She was like, he just won't talk to anybody. He just sits in that other room, just reading this book and rereading this book. And And he kept saying, Brad, you got to read this thing. This is something else. Like this is 96, right?
Yeah.
So I knew of the material. And so when the movie trailer came out and I saw that, I was like, it was a nice connection, but also really interested in adaptation. So I bought the book. So my friend's over, we're watching a movie of some sort. Don't even remember what it is. He goes to the restroom and the book was just there, and I, pull it out and I just read the first page. And it got my interest. I was hooked because it was the part, I remember the part of the line, and I still vividly remember like what my couch looked like and my periphery, like everything. And it was the part of the line that's, I think it was talking about Uncle Vernon going to work or something, just kind of his stodgy way of going off to Grunnings. It was when she said, it was either about him or about Petunia, but either way, it was like, everything was perfect. They're just perfectly normal. Thank you very much. Right. Like it was that thank you very much. Perfectly normal. Thank you very much. It was the thank you very much that immediately hooked me, because suddenly I was reading a book that didn't insist on itself. It didn't want me to take it too seriously, and it wanted to talk to me, and it was going to it acknowledge that I was there. Right. It broke the fourth wall without fully breaking the fourth wall. And it introduced me to the idea of there's a different way to tell a story and get exposition across and allow yourself into the inner thoughts of a character, which when you write a film, you don't have inner thoughts, right? Exposition has to come out in other ways because you can only see it or hear it. Books allow inner thoughts. And so when you're interested in adaptation, you're always looking for that bridge. Well, and here's a beautiful bridge. And coming from a background, even at that point, I started learning film and video and stuff from a documentary and storytelling style way. It hooked me on that. And then he came out of the restroom, put it down, finished watching the movie. I ended up driving him home and came back. And then TMI, I had to use the restroom. And it's like, it's this book. I'll just keep reading. My legs fell asleep in the toilet. I mean, I couldn't stop. I stayed up the entire night. I had a test, didn't study for it, kept reading, went to class, bum rushed the test, just get it over with. I got to get back to my book. And I still remember where I was sitting when I finished the book, because as I finished the book, I was like, this is gold. This is amazing. And it was simultaneously dawned on me as the first book I had read in under 24 hours. I'd actually read it in like 12 hours.
Yeah.
And so that one kind of stunned me. I was like, man, I finally found something I'm really into. It. So that's how I got onto Potter, and I just fell in love with it. I started the second book immediately. I refused to buy. I actually put the book down, and I think I had a friend hold it for me because I had to get through finals week. Like I knew it was going to be a real problem for me.
Yeah.
And so finals week were over, and I had a winter break, and I got through the second and I think the third book, and I just devoured them. And the third book was my favorite. The second book was the lull for me. I was still drinking it all in, but the third book the third book was so beautiful to me at that point in the way of storytelling that, when you get to the end, then you go back to the beginning, right? It's like, oh my God, it was all there. It's a Sixth Sense moment.
Yeah.
And so, I appreciate that. It's the same thing when you read the series. You read the series, you get to the end of the series, and you're like, she did it again.
Right.
I got to get back to the beginning, like, because it's all there. I'm trying real hard. But these little bastards today, they get to go buy a whole set of books. No, sir. I had to wait. A long time between books. Mm-hmm. And man, the fight, but there was such rich discussion and argument and fights over the content and where it was going to go. And then you would get into, I wish we had recorded that, talking about a podcast series when you don't know.
Oh my goodness.
And no one on the planet knows what's coming. Right.
It was so prevalent in the popular zeitgeist that was one of the plot points of the Devil Wears Prada, wasn't it? Like her impossible task was, my twins are going to grandmother's this weekend and they need the next Harry Potter book. She's like, okay, I'll go down to Barnes and Noble's now. She goes, did you fall down and smack your little head on the pavement? We have all the published books. You want the unpublished manuscripts? She's like, well, you know everyone in publishing and you can do anything, right?
Right.
There was such a fervor over it that Meryl Streep said Harry Potter.
Exactly.
That happened.
And that's what it was. And I had such a beautiful moment. 2022 Wizardfest. One of the things that we did, we had a small group of us that played Harry Potter Uno in this cafe.
Okay.
All night cafe. And sometimes we watched the sunrise. We stayed, that was our hangout. You didn't hang out where you slept. That's so lame. And so we would play, I mean it, 5-6 hours. But in that we would have the discussions, we'd have our fights but we only had the books and the content that we had up to that point to base our arguments and to position ourselves. But in that, when you're looking forward, then you also have the conversations that are off page, that are in between the lines, which is getting into the character psyche and getting into the character. And it's like, no, this character, and so the character is so deep. Yeah. It's not just what was written, it was what was inferred. And it's also what you infer, of course, is through your cultural lens and all this stuff.
Sure. And especially with your background, constantly thinking of adaptation and how that could be possibly represented on screen. That is such an interesting, you came to it from a screenwriter and storyteller's perspective. Mm-hmm. I came to it from the perspective of an 11-year-old boy with glasses, green eyes, and a scar in his head.
Oh, look at this.
This was I read the first Harry Potter book. I turned 11 3 days before Harry turned 11 in the book. That was the timeline for me. And I fell when I was 4 years old. I don't know if you can see it. And I've got a lightning shaped scar. It's in the back of my head, but this was the first time and really the only time outside of maybe Newt, which is interesting that it's inside the wizarding world, that I feel like that's why I latched onto it so much. It
resonated.
It did. It resonated. And there 2 books were out when I read the first one. So again, I plowed through the first one. I went straight into the second one. And then what was it? Larry Potter and the Muggles? What was that lawsuit that delayed it?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that's what.
It delayed the third book until I was that age. And then every subsequent release, I was Harry's age when the book came out. All the way to the end of the series. So this was the stars aligning for me. Now I did have to ask you, and I didn't really anticipate it going this way, but I don't know why I didn't, knowing your history. From a screenwriting and storytelling perspective, what are your thoughts on the television show?
The television show, the promise. So you don't know, right? So the promise of the television show is so exciting to me. First of all, I love serialized fiction. I grew up loving the movies. And I did. I loved movies. But at some point in college, I really fell in love, before I even had an understanding or a term for it. But I really fell in love with serialized fiction.
Sure.
So, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. If it had a DVD set, I was going to start watching because the thing I loved about it was it gave you time, and I blame Potter for really kind of solidifying it. When you have enough time to invest and fall in love with the characters, all you want is more time to go on their journey with them, right? And serialized fiction allows you to do that. Television shows allow you to do that. And so when I started reading Potter 7 days before I saw the movie, 7 days before everybody saw the movie.
Sure.
And I walked out. Oh, I hate to say, I really hope Chris doesn't listen to this. So I walked out, or James or any of them. I walked out so pissed. I raged with my Potter friends forever. I have a different appreciation for movies now in a different way. But at that time, I didn't. I was really that arrogant. You got to get it right. You got to stick the landing, And I was so mad. And the reason I was mad is that they only left out about 10 minutes. You go on this long journey, right? You're sitting in that movie theater for a long time. And they get to the end of telling the story. And to me, to this day, they missed the heart of the character. It's not there, right? And I'm like, and I argued with people. I was like, it was 10 minutes of content. 10 minutes. It was this line from Hagrid is all they needed at this time. And it was him sitting alone by the fireplace at Christmas. And it was these little moments that added to about 10 minutes.
Sure.
That was 5 to 10 minutes more. And then you knew who Harry was, even when he was smiling, how sad and broken he could be, right?
Yeah.
How disconnected. And all of it afterwards builds on that, doesn't it? Like, you know, it's the cracks that let the connection with Voldemort in. It's the self-doubt later that is built on from that who am I isolation. You know, why was I thrown into this terrible family that is by blood, but they don't want me here?
Yeah.
You know? And then for the first time, he's wanted, right? And then you get the idea that, and there's that very real sensation. You can be surrounded by people. And if you haven't healed, you're going to still
very
feel
alone.
Completely alone. And sometimes it's worse. Like it's, so anyway, and it was missing from the movie. And so I was so ragingly pissed. And here I will tell you how pissed I was. Ohio University has an amazing alumni network. And I know that. And so I immediately started calling anybody and everybody to try to find the connection in Warner Brothers to get on the film. Knowing I wouldn't have any sway, just I wanted to be a part of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the only way, because, you know, an author, there's one author. You got an author, editor, and an illustrator. That is it. Largely, especially for those books. In the film world, there are a lot of people that get to be a part of the magic, you know, firsthand. And that was going to be my only chance. And so I got close. The third film was the closest, and I gave up after that. But anyway, but that was part of the reason. It's like, I just want to be there. And then if I get that opportunity to be like, just put or if I get to put something on a shelf, just so, because somebody else missed it, you know, like, it's like, it's got to be there. Like, but that was it. Like it made me mad. And I raged against those films for a long time, and was not a film fan at all.
Okay. Yeah.
I am a deep book fan. Since then, I like, the films are fun, right? Like, but the films are second for me. I've always wanted the TV show. Coming back to your question.
Sure.
Because the TV show is allowed time to get into the heart of the characters.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see them develop these series out, because they're going to be able to get so deep and really represent the books well. And I think the other thing I'm excited for is it's going to introduce new folks to the material, and hopefully go back to the books. And then it'll be nice to like have some lively conversations with, you know, people that are just kind of getting back into them. And the other thing I'm excited for is I'm just really excited to see another person's take on it, you know,
especially Francesca Gardner, who is a showrunner now, with her work in Succession. I did some research for the podcast. I did some research on her, and I found an interview. She was on a podcast. I'll link it down in the show notes if anyone wants to go read it. But before she was even, this was like a year before, she had gained some notoriety for her work on Succession. But before they even announced the show, she even brought up in conversation that she feels very Hermione coded, and she's a Hermione archetype.
Oh, love it.
And so to use that in conversation, they may have been having talks about this with her at that point. I'm not sure, but to just bring that up in conversation, like I bring up Harry Potter in conversation all the time.
Sure.
To see, I think it's going to be in good hands. I am also very excited about the show because my daughter will be 9 when it debuts.
Yeah, so she'll get to grow up with it too.
And then it'll come out over the next 10 years. And so she's going to hit that age every year all the way to the finishing of the series. And it's really bittersweet to me because I know when the show starts, we're going to have that opportunity to bond together. But I know when the show ends, she's going to be an adult.
Yep. But you'll always have that, right?
Exactly.
You know,
that.
Provided that she likes it. She might be completely bored with it.
One of my side projects has been, how can I slowly and methodically brainwash her to like it without pushing too hard? So that, no, we do. We play a lot of games about a bunch of different things, but we both dressed up in full robes to go to Camp Landing for their Harry Potter movie. We saw the first one in theaters, and she even said, "No, Dad, you gonna let me watch the whole thing?" I was like, yes, I am. She's, no, you're not gonna turn it off at the spooky parts. You're gonna let me watch the spooky parts. Yeah, I'll let you watch the whole thing. And I wish that I had a better, it was one of those Jim and Pam, like, take the memory for your own self moments, but just she's sitting forward in the chair, cheering, like gasping, cowering, and then like pumping her fist up in the air. And then she turned to me and we both yelled out in the theater, "Not me, not Hermione, you." And she clapped after that. So I think the seeds are there. But that I do think the conversation around the show was interesting whenever they announced it, because everyone said, why? We want the extended stories. Why tell this story over again? But like you said, I had a gripe with every movie.
Oh yeah.
Was I ecstatic to go in and see this like on screen? Yes. But I even remember leaving, I guess, what was it? How old would I have been? 13? Yeah. I remember leaving the first one and going, they left out that part, which would have,
right, yeah.
That was kind of really important. I remember seeing the first movie being affronted and just insulted on Hagrid's behalf. That they added a completely unnecessary line to make him look dumb, of saying, "Made it myself," words and all, and then they zoom in on a cake where it's misspelled.
Yeah.
I hated that.
Yeah.
I hate it. So
you know what got my crawl?
What?
When they said, I think they made Hermione say spell instead of hex. Yeah. She says, "I know a spell when I see one." And I'm sitting here going, "You're in magic school. You're a witch and a wizard." Like, no, I know it's a hex for a reason, because it's a different kind of spell. That's like, I mean, what? Like, and that carved into me so hard. And it also carved into me a bit that apparently Americans, it's the pandering, or I felt that it was condescending of the film, the studios. And really kind of spins off from the publishers. I thought it was condescending of them to stick with that Sorcerer's Stone crap, because in no way has there ever been the Sorcerer's Stone. It doesn't make any sense. It's not a thing. Philosopher's Stone has been a thing through alchemy for so long, right? Like,
it is called the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And I understand from marketing perspective why they did that. But like, I think at the same time, there's got to be a level at some point where people need to be, you have to cast an expectation on people to rise to the occasion, rather than trying to dumb down what you're doing just because you're trying to get a few bucks out of their pocket. Like,
sure,
we've done that for so long. We've got some issues, right? Like,
yeah.
And so without going down that road, like, you gotta let people really kind of challenge themselves. And if they don't know what it is, ask, look up. It's a good reason to have a conversation, right?
Exactly. It's like, also, you don't have to show, don't tell. You don't have to handhold through every step of the process.
And that's actually I throw that is in the festival. Like, that is a lot of the festival.
So, okay, speaking of the festival, your love for the series grew to the point where you decided, let's throw an event.
No,
it didn't.
No. It wasn't my idea. The whole festival wasn't my idea.
Okay.
My responsibility at this point, not solely, I mean, there's a group of us, but like, I live with it absolutely the most. But it was actually a buddy of mine's idea that had never read Potter, had never seen the movie, like, or any movie, let alone the first one. Like, he just didn't. And but what he was a champion of the city of Ironton, right? And he believed in the power of people coming together in a city to raise morale. Of course, economic development and stuff, blah 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 blah. But really, kind of the kind of helping get the heart, get some pride, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so he had seen all of these other stories of these other towns. Like he was always paying attention, and always is paying attention to other towns that are small in similar situations in the Midwest. What are they doing? How are they attracting people? And so then he came to me and he's like, I want to throw a festival, and I think a Harry Potter festival, and I want you to be part of this group I'm putting together. I said, okay. I absolutely don't have time. I am a Harry Potter fan and I'll come for that reason, but like, I don't have time. I know nothing about a festival. I've never done a festival. I don't know anything about it. And I'd worked some comic conventions and things like that for a few years. So I understood the mechanics of that. I had no interest in creating a comic convention, and I didn't have time. And I was like, but whatever happens, I'm not going to lead this thing. I'll participate. I'll come on to your Sunday meetings. We started in 2017. The first festival was 2018.
Yeah.
And I'll come to your meetings, and we'll go from there. Within 2 meetings, I'm sitting at the end of the table, and people are just, because I'm just sitting, because what I do on a daily basis is like this brainstorm out loud, throw out your ideas, let's see what's going on. And then we work with the practical side of it, which is we have no money. Right. So,
sure.
And you had
to
pull this together. So I just took what I thought was a common sense approach. And that's kind of the only way I knew how to do it. And it's the only way I do it. And so, I mean, the simple parts are, okay, you got to have vendors. People like to buy some things and see stuff, and craft vendors are probably better because you don't want a bunch of crap, but we want a lot of vendors. So it looks like something's happening, I gave first year, 50% or more of our vendors, I just gave, the space to, and just to get them to show up. And the other part of it was I gave Wizards Ball tickets away, right? Like, because the Wizards Ball, we decided we wanted kind of a capstone party, a VIP party kind of thing. And really that was me just, ripping off what comic conventions do on their main Saturday night. But anyway, but that's how it kind of started. It was his idea. I mean, then it started to take shape. I was kind of at the head of the table, kind of by default, and largely because of canonical knowledge. Right. And it's like, I think what moved me in those first few weeks to people just turning and just waiting to see what came out to riff on was when I was thinking, and I'm like, okay, well, several things hit all at the same time in terms of ideas in the early meeting, and one of the early meetings, and that was Appalachian culture. Growing up around here, like there were a lot of farm fall festivals and, bean dinners and apple butter and all this stuff and soap making. And I'm sitting here, I was like, cause we had no money, and I'm like, we have no money. How can we possibly make the wizard world in Ironton? Like, we have no money, and Universal already existed, right? Like, so if you just go down to Universal and you're fully immersed,
you are in a set replica of that world that you can explore. Yeah.
So I told them flat out, I was like, if we set off to make a Harry Potter festival, we will fail. We cannot make a Harry Potter festival. It's impossible. I mean, outside of IP and all that crap, but like, we don't have the money. And I said, the only way we've got a chance is if we can. And I said, I set my goal. I was like, I'm going to make my personal goal is if while the person is there attending the festival, if we can create something that in the time that they're at our festival, one little thing happens that for one moment, it even scratches near the feeling they had when they fell in love with Harry Potter, then we've got something. Then we've done something. And so the goal was at that point to create as many moments as possible, as many moment catchers as possible. And we had this big theater that was half renovated. Like, it had all the boring stuff, but necessary stuff, HVAC, fire suppression, concrete walls. Like,
Sure.
But it was a big concrete box. We could do whatever we wanted it. The problem is it was so big. If you did anything, it was so expensive. And we were literally like, I remember like the fourth meeting in, we were trying to figure out how to float candles, right? We had a great room. Let's do a great hall in the auditorium. And it was like, how do you float candles? And it's like at that time, right now you can get a wand remote that will light up candles, right? And you could
we've got them in the house.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So,
yeah.
But that's now, not 7 years ago.
No.
Or 8 years ago, especially. And then you looked at battery powered candles and you're like, oh my God, to hang it in the size of a room is going to literally cost like $1,500. Again, we had $0
just for the candles alone.
For the candles. But the thing that kept the candles out of the ceiling of the Ronet is we couldn't figure out how to change the batteries. Because once they were up and on, they're going to die. And like,
yep.
How do you get up there and change the batteries? And we didn't have a lift, and we couldn't afford to rent one for that long. And so, and you can't do it in the middle of the festivals, go up and change batteries. And there would be nothing cheaper and gankier looking than a bunch of candles going out in the middle of the festival. So that's when I was looking for alternatives. I was like, I want to do something. And it's like, well, the Great Hall has a starry sky or reflects kind of the sky outside. And I was like, this unfinished ceiling, whatever. And then that's when I found those light curtains that were pretty affordable. So for like $900 and a whole lot of work that I thought would take a weekend, it took 2 months. We had to
just on the light curtains alone,
just on the lights in the ceiling, because we had 30,000 twinkling LED lights up there. Right?
Yeah.
And so, but they're on these light curtains, so we could hang several hundred at a time.
Yeah.
But we had to put guide wires across. Well, and when you're going across 70 feet, those guide wires have to be so tight. Well, if they have to be so tight, they have to have an anchor into the concrete walls. Okay. We couldn't afford a lift, but we got scaffolding donated for the duration. So we had to build the scaffolding on a slanted floor.
I'm so tired.
Climb up 30 feet and then figure out how to anchor something into a wall that then we rebuild the scaffolding on the other side of the theater and go up at an angle. And then you have to pull it tight with all of the twinkle lights on it because you had to assemble those on the floor. So, this is the last year for the twinkle lights. They were supposed to come down that first year. And there is a real good reason why they are still hanging. It took 2 months to put those up, and the ceiling wasn't going in. So until it's going to this year, or next year. So anyway, that's what we were working with. But the goal was really to become, to give those aha moments. As a matter of fact, we had the first year. You were there the first year. Actually, your tent broke the first year.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was. The short version of that, if you haven't heard it on our sister show, I was 5 weeks post-op of having part of my lung removed. I couldn't lift more than 10 pounds.
Yeah.
And that first Wizard Fest was 17 degrees on Saturday.
Yeah.
17, 18 degrees. It did not crest 20 degrees. So I'm already having a hard time breathing. And it takes me about 4 hours to set everything up because I have to move so slowly. I have to use dollies. I didn't have anybody that could go with me to help. And I get back to my house. It's like 9:45. I think I am dead, just drained. And Brad calls me and says, "Hey, is this Mr. Yes?" And he goes, "We had some straight line winds that came through here, and it picked your tent up and threw it about 50 feet down the street." And I was like, I'm in Moorhead, Kentucky. I'm about an hour and a half away, and very thankfully, he said, "Well, we'll try to get it strapped down for you." And I don't know if you saw that when it happened, but I had market lights strung up in the wire frame of the light, and those all broke and basically acted like a bunch of little daggers on the canopy. But yeah, it was there. First Wizard Fest. That they've all been better than that one.
Yeah. because of that.
Yeah, in a bunch of different ways. But the one thing that I have noticed, and correct me if I'm wrong, your festival, your guys' festival, feels like you said, it's not a Harry Potter festival.
No.
It feels like you have pulled back the veil or the curtain on the wizarding community in Ironton.
Yeah. So, and we talked about that early on, and we decided not to do it at the beginning. But my buddy Josh, that I had brought in with me at the beginning, he and I liked the idea of an expanded universe, right? But at the same time, you can't start a festival there because no one's going to show up.
Yeah.
Like this isn't going to make any sense. But what we did the whole time was, again, because we're playing against this idea, like J.K. Rowling, Wizarding World, Warner Brothers, they all own the rights to the property, as they should, right?
Yeah.
And they have full rights to do what they want with it. What they don't own is the idea of my feelings of it. They don't own my experience with it, and they don't own anybody else's. And they don't have a right to claim that, and they won't. And I will fight that to the end. So my love and passion and the reason for Wizardfest is it truly is a festival that is a fan festival by fans for fans. If you want a Harry Potter experience, you go to Universal or go see a movie or read the book. We've all done those things, and they are wonderful. Don't come to Ironton Wizardfest expecting the Harry Potter experience. Now, if you want to come to Ironton Wizardfest and find a lot of like-minded people who love Harry Potter, love the magical world and everything that it represents and is about, regardless of your feelings about the author, right? There's a lot of sticky, prickly things there.
Sure.
But if you want to come and enjoy just being around people who are just like me, just kind of celebrating that they found something that let them geek out wholeheartedly and just brings them joy. That's what Wizardfest is just us playing. We are just playing, right? At best, it's inspired by Potter, right? So over the years, though, what we've done is there is more of the lore, right? And
that has been, I love finding Easter eggs.
Yeah.
I love the nods, the tips of the hats, the like wink as you walk by moments, and they're everywhere.
Yeah. We don't have a lot of money, even though now we have a lot more money than we ever have. It's not much at all.
Yeah.
And so as a matter of fact, our entire budget with everybody coming. So like, why is there a gate fee? Well, it's quite simple. We have to pay for things.
Yeah.
I'm not independently wealthy, and no one in my circle for this festival is independently wealthy. And so we can't just pay for things. There are a lot of things actually. I mean, Rick and I paid thousands of dollars the first couple of years just out. We just lost it. And it didn't matter because it was just so wonderful. Like the people are just so wonderful. It was worth it. That was your ticket price in those early years may have been $15, $20, right? And now it's only 30 for the weekend. Like we try to keep prices as low as possible.
Sure.
But anyway, like our price to show up was, the first year, $6,000. Like we never got that money back. We'll never see that money again. And it's worth every penny. Our price the second year for a ticket for ourselves was probably about $4,000 or $5,000, right? Each. So, 2 years in, I'm 10,000 in. That's how much it cost me to go to Wizardfest, plus all the hours, right? So like, but the way I see it is we're just collecting everybody's money together, and then they're just entrusting us to throw a really good party and have a lot of good fun, right? And so that's the goal every year is like be good stewards with people's money. I'm very, and my goal is always to try my best to, in terms of like pricing and stuff, like can a family of 4 come to Wizardfest, enjoy a brew, which really isn't now. Now it's batch 1313 because we found the original recipe right in the basement. Did you read the story? Do you read the backstory of batch 1313?
Oh yeah.
So okay.
Oh yeah. I've read it. The whole development
OG of the butterscotch drink in the wizarding world, or wizard world, whatever. Anyway, so like the England's got their version, the West Coast got their version, but ours is actually the OG recipe because it came over, through ancient history. In terms of, I want a family of 4 to be able to come in and enjoy the entire weekend if they want to. Each have a batch 1313 drink, our favorite butterscotch flavored wizard drink, and do everything that the festival has and for a day's pay, right? So you give us a day, you entrust us with a day's worth of money, you bring your entire family, and we'll give you a weekend that hopefully you'll connect with some other people and take some things away. And I think we've done pretty good with that. And so that's always been the goal. Because I actually get told by my friends that are organizers of other festivals, they're like, you're way too cheap. You're way too cheap. You got double the price, just double the price. And it's like, it's not about the money. You don't get it. Like, we're not a street festival, so we can't run just vendors and then there's no fence and all that. That's how that works. It's not a comic convention where you go in and you meet these guests and, media guests and all that. You just, buy all this stuff. It's like, I hate the Sam's model of things, right? And if you wanted to do a photo op at a comic convention, you got to pay for it. I hate that. And so it's like video games, right? Like I was so excited. I was so excited that Hogwarts Legacy, when it came out, did one thing: no in-app purchases.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They got it.
You paid the money. You got the experience.
Yeah.
And I'm still finding
I love
details
Yeah.
and Easter eggs inside of that game. But Wizardfest, whenever first year aside, because I was horrendously ill and it was just let me get through it, but there were still glimmers of what it would become. But for me, it is that gathering of like-minded people that are geeking out about something that they love, and in an area where geeking out about something that you love may not have been as acceptable. I felt out of place,
right? As an adult.
Yeah. And it's this wonderful collection of vendors. I mean, I am full disclosure. I'm going to be a vendor there this year, but
collection.
I continued to go back because just the inspiration that people get from this story to do woodworking, to do leather crafting, to do the broom making, to do the wand making. It is a fountain of inspiration that I draw from personally for my creative endeavors, but you see that on full display at the festival, plus the different like escape rooms and games and the trivia and the pub that you have set up.
Yeah.
It is there's something for everybody there. And I mean, we're ecstatic. Jenny's dressing up. She's already decided that she's going to be what she's going to be. We've got a friend of ours whose daughter just started reading it, found out about the festival, and they're coming.
Oh, good.
As well. Like our circle of people who attend as well is getting bigger, and there's a lot of fervor in my personal circles about it, and I'm very excited, very, very excited about that.
That's great.
Yeah, if you are in the area that weekend, it's November the 9th and the 10th in Ironton, Ohio, I highly encourage that you come. We've got, I will be doing a live version of the podcast at Ironton Wizardfest in conjunction with some friends of the podcast that you've heard on the podcast before. Swish and Flick and I are doing a live show together. So I would love to connect with you at the show. I'd love for you all to meet Brad in person. You'll see him running around with a certain paternal wizard's hat on that he usually wears every year. But and Brad, I do have to thank you for coming on to the show and talking about that, because I feel like I got some more of your backstory this go around that made your appreciation of the series even more clear to me. And you could tell that a lot of that is evident in the festival. We'll link everything down in the show notes.
And I'm sorry I didn't talk about the festival more. I apologize.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
We didn't even tell them what's there. Like literally, we didn't tell them what's there.
Go for it.
Oh God. Okay. So, if you like trivia, we have 14 games. First of all, let me walk through okay. We have a lot of photo ops.
Are you like mentally walking through the festival?
Kind of. We have a lot of photo ops. We have a lot of, and some of them are pretty good. We have a lot of places to hang out, and there are a lot of things I can't say. So, themed rooms that you like in a certain magic school, those are there. We have a Wizards pub. It is a fully functioning pub. Also, our Batch 1313 Butterscotch Wizard drink is phenomenal. It is not something you're going to find on the internet. It was crafted in year one. It took a month or 2 months to actually nail it. And there's 11 ingredients in it. And we have kept it the same every year. Actually, last year we had the frozen version. We figured out how to do that. So, but it's fully functional Wizards pub. So there are libations for adults that are of age for adult beverages and for the kiddos. And it's a chance for the kiddos to sit at the bar at a Wizards pub, and it's perfectly fine and acceptable. It's not weird at all. So it's bright and light, and but then we also have actors from the Harry Potter series are coming over. This year we've got Adrian Rollins, who played James Potter, and I hear is the most lovely human ever. In the little interaction I've had with him so far, he's been fantastic. Rowan Gotobed, this is going to be his first year. He was played young Sirius Black in the series, in the later films. And then we have James Payton's a returning veteran of Wizardfest. This is his 4th time.
Fourth, yeah.
I love James. We're friends now. So James is wonderful. He's coming back. You got to meet, if you're coming to the festival, you got to meet all these guys. And then Wally's coming back. Wallace Hammond. Coming back. Wallace Hammond was Auror in the Fantastic Beasts movie. Wally's role was going to be bigger. Like you kind of, I don't know if I'm going to have a Q&A with him this year. We're not going to do Order of the Improv this year. We're going to do a Q&A with Wally just on his own, because there's very exciting things with Wally that most people don't know. And one of them, in terms of the Harry Potter series and the Fantastic Beasts series, they had this whole story with the Aurors and how the MACUSA Aurors, and how they function, how they communicate it. They cut it out, and it would blow your mind. I'm not going to share it because I don't know if I'm allowed. I'll let Wally tell you in person.
Yeah,
you got to meet him. I will tell you off the recording, but it'll blow your mind. It was fantastic, but they ended up cutting it out, which cut out sections of his speaking roles and all that. So, but actually, yeah. Anyway, it's amazing. Wally was also just he's on the screen right now in Beetlejuice. He plays a character there. And did you not know that?
No, I did not.
Oh yeah,
know
Wally's
that.
in that. And
I haven't been to see that movie yet.
Wally is also a voice in a lot of video games, a lot of the biggest video games. And it's not just like a background voice. It's like one of the main characters where you interact. I can't remember. I don't play this game, so I don't know, but I know that our kid was really excited about it. And I know that my brother-in-law his mind was blown. And last year was his first year at Wizardfest, and Wally wasn't there, and he's like, "Oh man!" I was like, "Okay, cool."
I missed in the night there. Yeah,
the story I got to tell, But anyway, so yeah, we got the actors, and we got great. We got a lot of animals. We're gonna have an owl this year.
I know, he's so beautiful.
Yeah, he is. If you go to our Facebook page, you can see Theo. And then I'm gonna post some more of Theo. Theo's amazing. And you get, so all this is included. We got the big Lego displays. I mean, massive Lego displays, and they're not kits they're professionally built. And, but all of this stuff is included. All the kids' crafts are free and included. The wand making and stuff like that's all included. And I say kids' craft, but the wand making is also for adults. Anybody who just wants to do it. And, all of the shows, we have shows running throughout the day in the auditorium. So there's animal shows. There's like the cosplayers do their kind of their shows. And then we have a Wizard Academy that the classes change. Like you're going to be in a different class every 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And we cycle them twice. So I try to stagger the schedule. So if you're really meticulous and you show up right at 10, you have a chance to actually do everything by the time the festival's over. Otherwise, it's impossible. And we also have the riddle rooms, so the escape rooms. We're adding a 4th one. That one's actually going to be a paid one, but that money's going to go to a the Kiwanis for children's charity.
Oh, cool.
And so, like, you know, all these, and it's going to be actually that group that's doing that escape room is specific. They're coming from Virginia. People from all over the U.S. come, and the amount of people that come that are fans, that are super fans, and incredible cosplayers, and they get to play. They're not allowed to play really much anywhere else. Definitely not. Anyway, they come to play and they do well.
My daughter was almost 3. She would have been 3, 2 going on 3 or 3 going on 4 at the Wizardfest where she first met Darwin. And he walked up to her. She was in a stroller at that point, and her eyes just got so big. And he leaned down and went, "Tell me, what exactly is the function of a rubber duck?" She went, I don't know. She's like, "Well, here, you could figure it out." Gave her a little miniature rubber duck.
Oh, that is adorable.
She still has it. It's on her shelf. And if you ask, "Jenny, where'd you get that?" "Ronnie Weasley's daddy gave that to me." That was the moment that sealed it. And again, creating this event where you can get these people who love the series and love to cosplay it to come in and create those moments. Like you are providing the lush like canvas for a lot of the magical moments to happen.
Oh.
And some of them I know you plan, and I do go through and just ogle at it all. I'm just amazed at all the details, but some of them you can't plan.
No.
And I think that's where a lot of the magic happens.
Matter of fact, I'm surprised by a lot of things that happen because they're not planned. They are planned now. Like I found out there are things coming that I don't know, and specifically have been told I'm not allowed to know. And I said, as long as it doesn't jeopardize anybody's safety, clog anything up, and they're like, no. And I'm like, but they're like, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be big. I also know there's another group that's planning to do, because I'm going to help them out. There's going to be, I don't know if I'm adding it to the schedule or not, so I'll debut it here. It might be the only place it's talked about. A Niffler run, and I think it's going to happen both days. That's going to be hilarious. I hope it is, because it just sounds hilarious, right? You have all these adults running through town.
Okay, I was like, how are you going to pull off Nifflers? It's like people are acting as Nifflers. I love that even more.
I mean, it's just the most ridiculous thing ever. I love it. And so I don't know when it's going to happen. I just know it's going to happen. But things like that are being planned. And like the school was like, we have to, when we did that in year 1, it was like, we have to do it. So let's put this space over here and we'll call that our school. And then I got a hold of some friends and I was like, okay, how about you just kind of take charge of the school? And I was like, obviously you're not teaching magic, but what kind of fits? And they came up with some stuff. And then they've really refined it, because I've stayed hands off. And it just, the past few years has really found its, and Lisa Pinkerton, she's over the school. Professor Pinkerton's over our Ironton Wizard Academy. And she's just, if I would meet someone new, like that would be good for the school, then I'd introduce and connect those two. And then it's just like, you guys do you, because it's working, and I'll do what I can to support it. I'm not going to step into it. And there are a lot of underground themed festivals that are going on simultaneously that I think is just brilliant. But again, I don't get involved. I support. So there are a lot of folks that are Wiccan and New Age and stuff. And so there's a whole bunch of vendors that cater to those folks. Well, how do I support folks? I mean, that's not my religious upbringing, but I believe in freedom of religion, right? Like, and so I want to, like I said, everybody's welcome. So how do I support that? Well, I found out a lot of those folks are vegan, right? And it's like, okay, I need to try to have vegan options at the festival. And the Wizards Ball, I make sure there are vegan options. And so there are little like nuances. And again, so like the spaces that people need, and then like, just how do I support us all coming together so everybody truly feels included? I try, right? But I want everybody to feel safe. I want everybody to feel safe in their nerddom and geekdom. and feel embraced because that's what this is about. It's like, and you can do this in Appalachia, in the Bible Belt, in the, Rust Belt, in the whatever belt. We can do these things. We don't have to go to cities. This is our community. Let's live in it.
And it's surprising to me, but it's also comforting, like the number of people that they feel like they have the place for that, and they feel safe to express themselves in that way. And that's I think is the beauty of Wizardfest. But Brad, thank you again for coming on, for talking Potter, for talking Wizardfest, for letting me pick your brain from a screenwriter, video producer who's also geeking out about the show coming up. And then I think most urgently, because it's coming up, but talking how you've kind of put your fandom into action with this festival. And I think it's really inspiring. So thank you for coming on Potter Plus.
Thank you for having me. I don't get to talk like this much. I really don't. It's wonderful.
I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
This episode is brought to you by the Big Red Button Podcast.
Do you know what you'd do in a nuclear apocalypse?
Because we sure as quack don't.
See how our choices get us into trouble and back out again in this actual play podcast.
Big Red Button is for lovers of the Fallout franchise, choose your own adventures, and tabletop role-playing games rolled into one big audio drama.
Our band of stragglers is unraveling a mystery in the wasteland, and we're at the mercy of the roll of the dice.
So grab your Geiger counters, take your rat away, and subscribe to our new show, The Big Red Button.
Well, that will about do it for this one, guys. But before we go, there's a Potter creator that I did want to feature here toward the end, and it's Gabby from OM Goodness Pins over on Instagram. She does a monthly subscription pin club that are all Potter Pockets, which are Harry Potter inspired Polly Pockets. She's been doing them long before the Wizarding World caught on and they started releasing them. But she's having a sale open to the public today. This episode's not sponsored in any way. I just think they're adorable, and I think you should go check them out. But I'll link to that down in the show notes below. And that's it for this one, guys. Thank you, Brad, again for joining us for this week's episode. Be sure to check out Ironton Wizardfest. A link to their website will be down in the description below. And as always, Potter Plus is a production of the Grapefruit Network. To find out more about this show, visit us at potterplus.show. And to find out more about the other shows in our network, visit us at thegrapefruitnetwork.com. I'm on Instagram at Kentucky Wizard. Come over, say hey, let's hang out. And again, that's it for this one. I've been William, and remember, you're just as sane as I am.